Hey guys, it's Graham with Battle Garage, and we're here at Thunderhill West, and we're going to be testing some parts on this GR86. And to help me evaluate the parts we have in this car, I've got Tyler Colgate. Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I grew up doing circle track stuff, managed to hold down 7 regional championships with the local SCCA and autocross, and beautiful day at the track.
So basically, in order to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, I've got Tyler here as a backup, and he's going to be evaluating my steering inputs to see if we can see some differences on how this car is handling out on the track. All right, now the GR86 we have here today, this is not your normal stock GR86. This car is actually really modified. Really awesome endless brake kit, front and rear. He's got 37s on it. Whole slew of catalog of Cusco parts from the catalog. So there's the Swaybars, there's a ton of braces, subframe braces, trailing arm braces, literally the entire Cusco catalog. So running some Bridgestone RE71 RSs, which is, if you guys go to the track much, you'll know it's one of the grippiest tires available. And then to round out the suspension package, we're actually testing some development Annex Club Spec Pros, which are on the vehicle, and we're testing out some new valving as well on the Annex side of things. By the way, all these parts are available on Battle Garage, and you should check out our website. But today's focus is actually about the rear Swaybar brackets. First session, we actually have the Swaybar brackets installed on the car, and that's gonna be the first part of our test. So it's gonna be the A part of the test. Later on, we're gonna remove them. That'll be the B part of the test. And finally, by the end of the day, we're gonna put them right back on to make sure we can see a significant change. Whether it's good or bad, we don't know yet, but we'll find out.
Very exciting day as we're doing some development and testing. It's pretty exciting to see that Battle Garage is coming into space now, supporting this chassis.
Yeah, you know, Battle Garage is mostly known for AE86s. That's been my bread and butter for a long time. Really enjoy those cars. They're super fun and lightweight and nimble. But you know, we're really glad that this car exists as like the spiritual successor to the 86.
Oh, absolutely.
And so for the last couple of years, we've been getting more into the ZN6s, adding a bunch of parts to the product lineup. And actually, most of my coworkers at this point own ZN6s. I actually used to have a ZN6 myself. Yeah, our goal is really to come up with parts for enthusiasts like ourselves. And so that's why we're out here today testing on track to see if these parts that we're thinking about making are actually working.
So today we're testing the Battle Garage rear anti-roll bar relocation kit. And the reason why we made this part is because ever since I got my own ZN6, I noticed that when the car's on the ground, the angles are really tilted up, even when the car is just sitting. So it's a very short sway bar, and it's angled up very steeply.
Yeah, it's almost I'd say it's even stock. It's like almost like a 60-degree angle, right? It's pretty
it's pretty aggressive. Yeah. So what we made is we made a bracket that allows you to adjust and correct that angle for the most part.
But yeah, why don't we talk a little bit of the driving before I start to pick up the speed here. But I'm expecting that with the relocation kit on, I'm expecting that at the limit, especially when hitting bumps and loading up, I'm expecting that the car will be less twitchy at the limit. So hopefully we can show that with the camera on the helmet as well as Tyler doing it from the outside. So why don't we pick up the pace now?
Let's go for it.
We actually are on some prototype Annex dampers. Some of you guys may know that we also operate a suspension company called Annex Suspension, which is not just for BRZs. We cover a lot of popular import. But today we are on a update to our Club Spec Pro, and I've got a little bit on the softer setting. Wow, starting to get wet.
Yeah, welcome back.
Okay, I gotta dial back. Hey, I gotta say though, this thing feels very predictable at the limit. Cool.
It's a quick recover. That's nice.
No, that was pretty easy to drive at the limit, actually.
Yeah, and what I liked is as you were ramping up into your pace, I could see that you were able to set, and then again, maybe a minor correction,
yeah.
But there was not a lot of there was no fast hands, there was no quick corrections, no jerks. You weren't having to toss it, and you were able to dial, set the grip, hold all the way through.
All right, we've come back from the first session, and it was very wet on track.
Very wet and a little bit muddy.
Although it's sketchy, I did kind of get a sense for how the car was driving. But yeah, overall the impressions were good.
Definitely noticed how much you were able to take a set the wheel, and there was no sawing, there was no fast hands. You were able to put the grip on and hold it with minor adjustments. That meant every time, was it a turn 6, turn 7, you were setting up in a similar manner, which makes it more believable you can get that feeling of what's going to happen, you can trust the car, you can push it more and more. And it should be apparent in the video because your pace picked up a lot.
So my experience driving these cars, whether it's the first gen or the second gen, is they can be a little bit nervous at the limit. Right at kind of towards the edge when you're loading it up, the tail starts to wiggle a little bit. And at least with, you know, my limited experience with this car, but with the brackets, I didn't really experience that today, and it felt very planted.
And even the few times you initiated and broke traction, the recovery was seamless. It was very impressive.
So we will know for sure once we put the brackets back on for a final test, but right now the impressions are great, and hopefully it stays that way when we put them back on. So.
Okay, so we pulled the car into the pits and I swapped out the Swaybar bracket off the car. It actually was pretty easy to do even in the pits, like even with basic hand tools, took maybe about 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was real easy.
But yeah, we removed those green brackets and now we have just the Cusco Swaybar installed onto the car as if you were just installing onto a stock car. So I'm expecting to feel the rear to be a little bit looser, but the track is a little drier, so we'll just have to find out.
And get the tire and put up snap.
Oh, that's okay. That was dramatic. That was dramatic. What the hell? Okay, this is really, guys. It's so much more nervous than I'm nervous now.
Is it pushing in the rear?
It's looser on the rear now for sure. So as the temperatures have come up, the rear is more stable. It might be a tire tap issue.
It may have been, but at the same time, I can hear the tires at the limit.
Yeah.
And again, temperatures, track conditions are different.
Yeah.
But I did not hear the rear end before.
Jesus.
And there's no water and no mud there now.
Yeah.
And it's
Nothing like under and oversteer at the same time.
right.
The next session should be a lot more like indicative because I can actually kind of do what the limits of the car are on trying to.
I think you will.
That was pretty dramatic. When we first went out, the tail was sliding like crazy, right? And then we just kind of thought like, okay, maybe it's just the tires warming up. And then later on when the tires warmed up, it did get more stable. But I kept pushing the pace and like the car was just way more nervous. Like braking into the turns, I noticed, especially braking, the tail would kind of step out. And especially on the exit, like as I'm going at the limit, it would snap real fast. And that was my impression of driving. Last session of the day, I put the Swaybar brackets back on.
Yep.
Now the weather's been kind of difficult because now it's cloudy and colder, whereas earlier I think it was still in more ideal conditions.
Yeah, the track is a little warmer, so.
And it's also combined group, so there's tons of cars on the track right now.
So let's see what it goes.
Yeah. That feels better.
It was tight, even cold tires, cold track. That was tighter.
Oh yeah, dude. Even cold
You got
tires.
on power so much sooner.
Even cold tires.
On cold tires.
Oh, dude, way easier.
So much tighter.
Way easier. You drive the car should drive. Oh man, that was ridiculous.
here at the end of the day. We've completed our series of A, B, A testing. A meaning that the brackets went back onto the car.
Back on the car, right?
Yep. And the results are very clear.
It was dramatic.
Absolutely.
Like without the brackets, as soon as we went around the first hairpin towards the end of the track, the tail would step out and the car would get sideways. With the brackets on, it just was completely different. Even with cold tires, it was just gripped up. It was very stable.
The difference between where you were able to build into the car, it was consistent, you were able to put it where you want, versus you were trying a bunch of different lines, you were trying to find where the grip was. It was really apparent even in the passenger seat.
Yeah, so and I don't notice that because I'm driving, I'm focused on that. But luckily you're right next to me and you could actually see me kind of fighting as I was trying to figure out how to, the car just wasn't predictable and I was fighting it, right?
Absolutely, and that was exactly what it was. You didn't know what was gonna happen mid-corner or corner exit. So you started adjusting your line and changing the way you were driving to make the car work.
Yeah.
In that last session, once you were comfortable with the car, once it was back up to temperature,
Yeah.
you were laughing, you were having fun.
It was like night and day. It was like the car was just suddenly way more predictable. I just felt way more confident on track. And because of that, I was able to push things out to the limit. Whereas before, as I was tracking out, I'm catching the oversteer. I'm not sure if it's gonna stop in time. But with this, I was literally placing it. Even the slides were more gradual too. So just the whole thing was just night and day.
Yeah, and I mean, even before in the braking zones, it would get unsettled. You'd have to catch it and then try to drive it out.
We don't have good timing to show for this, so this is gonna be completely subjective. And that's mainly just because the conditions of the track were changing so much. It was wet in the beginning, then it got warm and dry, and then finally when we tested the brackets again, it was a little bit colder as well. But the times were dropping as I was getting more confident, especially with the brackets on here. This is something that I mentioned that I felt like the car needed for a long time, and we as a team have felt the car has needed for a long time. We made the brackets, we put them on. Even I'm blown away by how dramatic it was. This part, we don't really know what the price is gonna be exactly, but it's not gonna be very expensive. And I feel like it's gonna be one of the most significant modifications you can do to your lowered BRZ or GR86 if you're driving it at the limit. I think it's gonna be a huge change for you. Look, in summary, I think the test went extremely well, and I'm stoked. I actually can't wait to do more products for this car. Hopefully we can find other things that make a big difference. If you guys have any ideas on what you guys want us to test or develop, or any weaknesses you see with the platform, let us know. Hopefully keep this car moving forward, just like we've done with the 86s. New platform for us, and we can't wait to see what we can do with it next. Please subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see, and we can't wait to do the next test for you guys.